go up to number 98. Squeeze comes back together. They reunite after 3 years, and they have this song called Hits of the Year. Did you play? Is this something you remember?
I do remember it very well. Actually, the part that I do remember, because if you think about their biggest hit was actually Black Coffee in Bed. And Hits of the Year was kind of like, it was a song about a holiday flight, like being on holiday, but it gets hijacked, the plane. So they had to react to that. And it's interesting you mentioned about the breakup, because I mentioned the Malibu nightclub in Lido Beach. My most embarrassing moment was actually walking it. Well, I introduced Squeeze at the Malibu. They did a club appearance. And when I went, what you normally would do after you would introduce a band, you'd watch the band, then you go back to the dressing rooms. Hey guys, great show. And I walk into the dressing room and there's Chris Difford and Glenn Tilbrook crying. Chris and Glenn were crying because they just made the decision to break up the band. And I walked into that moment and I was like, oh, wrong moment. So I do remember the period before that song. And they had a lot of fun, I think, with that video. It was a very uppity, kind of song. Yeah. And, off to the airport, checking the bags, going on holiday, and the flight gets hijacked.
Okay, wait. So going back to you walking in on their moment. So you could have been the one to keep them together. You could have talked them back, talked them into staying together.
Yeah, I could have just said, group hug. Come on, let's regroup. Group hug. Come on. You didn't mean it, right? You didn't mean it.
What are you doing here? This is crazy.
Yeah. And I've had Chris and Glenn on my show on First Wave. And actually, when I had them on the air was when the album Spot the Difference came out, because Spot the Difference was when they were trying to reclaim their music royalty, the rights. And they actually had to re-record every song to re-establish their royalties. And it was interesting. Like I said to Chris Difford, I said, so what's the difference between this version attempted and that version attempted? He goes, nothing. There's no difference. Even got Paul Carrack to redo the vocal again. I mean, they recreated the song like note for note to reclaim their music rights, which is what Spot the Difference. That was the last time I had Chris and Glenn on the air. And it was a great moment.
Were you able to spot the difference?
No.
Really?
It sounded the same to me.
Did it? Okay. Because a lot of times you hear it and like, it's not the same, but okay. Yeah, a lot of bands are doing that. I have to do it. Just ask Taylor Swift.
Right. And I appreciate that why they're doing it, and they should.